What's up, Rockstars, and welcome to the 3D printing news video for August. If you wanted to know what awesome 3D prints are out there, this is the video for you. Let's get to it. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. It is through their financial support that this channel is possible. If you appreciate the videos I make every single week for you guys, and you can give even $1 a month, there's a link down in the description below. Thank you so very much. Another way, let's just dive right in. There's a ton to go over. Now, I cannot possibly cover every single, tribe and Patreon and Kickstarter and my mini factory campaign and any of that kind of stuff. And there's websites that do this. There's a ton of 3D printing out there, but I'm going to give you some snippets, some really cool things, some updates on some of the ones that I look at and try and see if I want to subscribe for this month or that month or something like that. So starting things out with Cast and Play here, they have a very cool month for August here. They are just wrapping up their Essential Terrain campaign, by the way. You can late pledge that. This is essentially like a D&D heaven, right? This is like all of the furniture and, terrain and buildings and stuff that you could possibly want. One of the things that differentiate this over something like maybe something you could buy is that there's a ton of stuff like it's not just a table, right? A lot of times you'll get all these prints or all these miniatures for like a table and chairs, but there's nothing on them. Notice all of the stuff that you can have on dressers and tables and desks and stuff like that. That is, I think, the differentiator here is this kind of stuff right here. That's what I think is super cool. So it definitely makes it feel more lived in, if that makes sense. But moving on from that, in August, they have the Forgotten Maze. This is super cool. Now, if you didn't know, they do a wide variety of things. So they do, like all the bases you would need. They do some like terrain, some scatter terrain. They do some big minis. In this case, it's mostly dragons, these cool looking dragons. But we also have some undead and then some just like kind of general monster stuff here. And if you look, there is more like undead ghost, skeleton guys. And there's some, maybe like dragon kind of men, wolf kind of guys. There's villagers. There's a ton of stuff. It just amazes me the variety that you get and the amount that you get and the end to end of it all, right? Like the fact that you get all the bases to all the minis. Look at this stuff. This is fantastic stuff. This would be good on its own, but they just pump out so much stuff at such a high quality. Always impressed with them. You can go, there's a link down in the description below, of course, to all of this, but there's a lot of stuff, guys. There's a lot. So that is for August for them. Let's see. Lord of the Print. Of course, we got to take a look at what they're doing. And they already have their stuff announced here. So let's take a look. This is August, the creators of Infernus. Super duper cool, I feel, because it is just so unique feeling. For instance, like here's like, okay, a Cyclops, but it's not just like the normal Cyclops you see. This Cyclops has like these big tusks on the bottom and this big old chain and a cage and this gigantic weapon. And it feels unique. And that's what I get a sense out of all of these are. For instance, this one, look at that. He's got a little bird on his, on his finger. I love it. I think that's great. Just some really cool monsters, really cool basing, always interesting, and just generally impressed with the variety and the uniqueness of it. That's what I try to see. I get when we look at these enough, like how I do, you see so many things that are just kind of the same. And so I really appreciate seeing things that are different and interesting. Look at that one. fighting over the food. Fantastic. So you got some really cool encounter minis there where you can like walk in and, you know, looking at a bird or fighting over food or something like that. And then you can go to attack mode afterwards. Super duper cool. And I really dig seeing that. Now, one thing I want to also shout out is my sponsor for this video, GameWorkCreate. If you didn't know, they will print anything for you. So if you have a custom STL, if you have found an STL and just want a physical version of it and you don't print, you can send it off to them. They will print it and deliver it, and they deliver fantastic. Or you can just browse all the stuff that they have. They have a 100% money back guarantee. They have great prices, really good quality. I actually have a few minis here that I wanted to show you. First of all, again, they ship them great. Look at this. So it comes in its own little box, and then has all the padding, and then you have the base with it. So it all matches. You can get it just like this. It's fantastic. Really, really well done. And of course, they do these big minis, you know, really, really well. The quality, by the way, is bar none. So I actually have one of the minis here. This is from the cast and play of July, actually. But if I'm going to take, I would normally glue them on, but I'm going to take this guy off, because what I want to show you is just how great, how robust. I want you to see. Do you see how I can bend this stuff? It doesn't just like snap and break and get all messed up. Very, very durable, very nice. And I mean, it doesn't even look 3D printed. It looks like just a miniature you would buy for an insane amount of money, but it's not an insane amount of money. And they do large scale, they do small scale, so you can get your D&D stuff, you can get your painting stuff, your display pieces, and they do the whole shebang. Look at that. They'll even print out the 5e adventure book that you need, and like really, really nice. Like this is great quality. It's like spill proof. I love that. It's good color. Just really nice to see this stuff. So yeah, amazed. They do great work, good prices, money back guarantee. They'll print anything you want. Link down in the description below. Feel free to check them out. A big shout out to them. And as you can see, they support a ton of stuff already by default. So let's move on to Archvillain. Now this is super cool. Archvillain always does amazing stuff, of course, but look at this. Shattered Valley, this is their August stuff here. Now, a few things about this. First of all, I really dig the dinosaur theme, right? Because, I mean, you know, dinosaurs, but it's like the kind of almost Aztec style kind of guys that you're going to see here with their weapons and their gear and their armor. Now, of course, they do the busts and they do the big things. In this case, it's a whole bunch of guys on top of something. But look at the magic and stuff like that. And then, of course, they even have the life-size like potion prop thing you can get. Just a really good quality stuff all around. Super unique stuff. Very, very different. I'm sure this is a different STL file, so you can print it with different plastic as you wish. Or of course you can just, you know, paint it. You know, you can do whatever you want, of course. But yeah, just I love it. And of course the basing is fantastic as well. It always is. It's super thematic. Everything you need right there. Very, very, very cool. All right, next up, 3D Art Digital. This is somebody that I follow for a long time. Now, this is actually an update for you guys. They have a State of the Patreon that they posted late last month where they said, hey, guess what? Their artists are fine. If you didn't know, a lot of their artists are in Ukraine, and so I've had obviously some hit or misses there. They are skipping August, but then they will be back afterwards, so that's great to hear. Now, that being said, they've done this before, so if you just scroll a little bit down here, you'll see this has happened before. So it's kind of hit or miss there with that, but they do fantastic stuff. So let's see the last thing that we saw. So the last thing that we saw here was this right here, where they were going for like these kind of bird people, but then they also had some griffins, I believe, and then they had like these people here, which are like super interesting with the kind of the wing style, I think is really interesting. And the face is, I don't know what to think about the face, but again, this is all kind of work in progress as they're working on stuff like that, which is super cool. Here's another one you can kind of see here. So they're doing these bird people. I don't know if that's what we'll see and get. I don't know. but the quality is normally really, really great. I love their style. I love how unique and different it is. Again, I always appreciate that. And of course, the quality is top notch. But nothing for August, sadly. Just want to let you guys know. So if you are, a patron of theirs, you can bow out for a month if you need to, and then kind of come back on. That's just fine. Artisan Guild. I mean, everybody loves Artisan Guild, right? So they actually have like a little video here, but I can kind of talk around it here. So essentially, they have these, they have this Naga, which is really super cool, and then they have these like kind of ball demon kind of guys here, and it's very, very neat because obviously they have a variety of weapons and stuff you can put in there. So they have this group here that you can equip differently. Their facial expressions are fantastic. They're really, really good. I might actually play the video shortly just to show you some of that. But then you have the main baddie here as like when you first enter, maybe you first meet him. And then of course the big bad, the epic boss battle version of him you have as well, which is super cool to see. I'm actually going to play this a little bit, just real quick, just show you some of the facial expressions, which I always appreciate. So you can see here, just some of the facial expressions are just really, really good. I very much appreciate the variety there. So I think they always do a fantastic job with that. It adds so much character. All right, let's look at RNE Studio. They actually have these JRPG stuff going on. They've been doing this for a while now. And this one, they're doing Final Fantasy VII. So you have a soldier version of Cloud here, of course. You have some of the bosses and stuff like that. This is Volume 8. So again, they've been doing this for a while. And then they have the Heroine's Quest as well, where you get a few different things. You'll recognize a lot of these as Hero Quest made female, which is super cool. So you get the Heroine's Quest, which is kind of neat. I think it's pretty cool. But, and of course, the Final Fantasy stuff, I know my daughter loves that. And again, they've been doing this for a while. Like they had Geneva in last month. So sorry I didn't have this video out before for you, but I'll be doing this monthly for you guys, so you guys can keep in the know-how of this. And most of these JRPG stuff will not be on my mini factory. It's only kind of available here. So yeah, take that as you will. Infinite Dimension Games. They do some super cool stuff. I love it because it's terrain and it's super cool. Let's go back to the first one. So one of the cool things they do here is, first of all, the scattered terrain I think is fantastic. I love this kind of rubble stuff. But then they just have a variety of different things. So they have like a little drawbridge here, and then they have this bridge here that's all broken, and they have a ladder, and they have this other kind of gate on like a stone thing here. Just different things that you can use for a variety of reasons, for a variety of games. Love this destroyed stuff here. It looks fantastic. It really does. So yeah, you get everything from rickety platforms, and as you can see, they're combining it, right? Like people have kind of made do with it. There's the ladder going down there, right? So really cool to see, just the interesting part of how they've like taken this, let me X out here, this big normal bridge, and then kind of made it their own. It's just something unique. It's something I haven't seen before, so I wanted to share that with you guys. I think that's super neat. All right, next up we have 3D Art Guy. His stuff is fantastic. Top tier stuff. I mean, just fantastic stuff. So what are we doing this month? Well, some cool stuff, of course. So this is kind of like a character pack here, and there's some amazing stuff. First of all, that throne is just bomb. That is a fantastic throne. I love the dragon heads here, and then the dragon kind of curled around in the back. Super duper cool. Of course, look at that. Oh man, looks awesome. Okay, so you have that whole thing. You got the hunter from Bloodborne, near and dear to my heart. And in fact, you even have him in a diorama shooting a guy in what's obviously like the first level of Bloodborne, right, with the lanterns here and stuff like that. Just, it's so great to see. So cool. Love it. This is so awesome for me. And then you have the character kind of not sitting down, and actually in a few different poses, I believe. Yeah, so here's magic version, again with the dragons. That looks so good. It looks so good, guys. That is fantastic. What a great display piece. And then you have like what is essentially what I'm calling, Castlevania over here. If you ask me, just looks great. Looks great. All this stuff is really cool. Love the characters. You get Gandalf because, of course, he's smoking a pipe while killing a guy. Or, boom, you can take the hood off, take the pipe out, and electrocute this dude over here. Just looks super cool. So, yeah, I mean, quality stuff. And again, different from what everybody else is doing. Very much appreciated. Next up, Bestiarum. Guys, Bestiarum is just my jam. I love the gritty, dark, grim, dark, nasty version of stuff that they do here. So let's look at the August release, part 1. Yeah, there's a lot. Okay, so as you can see, you get some amazing beastmen here, and that's kind of what they were advertising there. I love the huts. I love that they added the huts. I think that's fantastic. And I'm hoping it's to scale. I imagine it's to scale, but look at the giant dude here. Oh, and then this like huge like bull dude that's super angry, and I love the freaked out villagers running away and stuff. I think that's awesome. It looks really good. I love the variety of beastmen. I love the scatter terrain they always do is fantastic. Actually, yeah, look at that. They had the scale. So there's the scale right there. So yeah, it works for me actually. I think that's great. For the little guys, those big guys are far too big, but it looks great. I mean, this is love it. Love it. Really, really do. So that is part 1. We'll see part 2 eventually, of course. I'll share that once that's available, I guess, whenever that happens to be. So DM Stash does, again, also great stuff. Different, unique. I appreciate it. I'm glad they're standing out here. So DM Stash definitely is all about the 5e campaign STL combo stuff, right? And I mean, it's in the name, of course. And look at this stuff. It's really, really cool monsters that's always my favorite. So you get the 5e campaign, of course, with all the different stuff, and you get, the different stat blocks and stuff like that, little story bits and whatnot. Some really creepy dudes there. You get the busts, which are also very neat, and I really appreciate the fact that they all have unique stands as well. But I mean, great looking characters here. Great looking monsters. The monsters, I think, are a highlight for me this time. Just nasty, gross, violent. Look at the faces on his arm. I love it. Daggerith, the Ascended one. I don't know if he ascended. I don't feel like he did. But you can see the person right there. Just such a unique mini. So cool. Love these different hero-like people. Just, again, fantastic stuff. A very interesting variety of stuff going on. Love the basing. High quality stuff. What I would expect from DM Stash. They're doing a great job with all this. Really excited to see that. All right, next up, Flesh of the Gods. Again, this was something I remember first checking him out because I heard the name, and I'm like, Flesh of the Gods. That sounds amazing. That sounds awesome. And look at this. I love that the release schedule looks like a band tour and page. In my opinion, right? I mean, that's what it looks like to me, and it is cool stuff. So let's see the Scourges of War. Which just look awesome. So here is the Scourges of War. Again, fantastic. Love the textures. If you are a painter, the textures on here. Look at the cape there. So good. Look at the texture even on the chain. I mean, it's just high quality stuff. I really dig it. I love the variety. I love the attention to detail. I love the uniqueness. Again, I have nothing like this. I've seen nothing like this. I love it. I'm so glad that they have that. This is Beastmen writing it. Just crazy good stuff here. It looks really good. It kind of reminds me a bit of like a Storm Thunder kind of thing. If you're a board gamer, if you're a viewer of my channel, you definitely know a lot of that stuff. But I love it looks so good. So good. Everything is just top notch. So very, very cool to see all this stuff. Of course, they have the busts if you want that. If you're a painter, stuff like that. Yeah. So high quality stuff. Looks great. Looks unique. Love it. All right, next up, this is actually cool. This is Ronin Arts Workshop. I wanted to show you this because it's something, again, unique and different. They're doing a lot of busts and stuff, especially this month, but I wanted to show you this kind of like art piece that they have here, which I think is super neat. So they have like the actual art of it, but look at this. So you could actually like, you know, print this out, and it's like this cool thing. And of course it's got the skulls, and it's super cool there and awesome there. And then they have an actual like character as well, and then those busts, I believe. Yeah, so then they have the busts as well. The busts we've seen, right? Minis we've seen, though maybe not a sci-fi kind of neo-punk style, but this art piece, super cool. I really dig this. Very, very neat, very unique, and I'm glad that somebody is doing something different. All right, next up we have March of the Living Dead. This is by Crippled God Foundry, and again, the name alone is something I love, but they have some super cool stuff. So here's the August reveal. Look at this gnarliness. Look at that. Look at that guy. Oh my gosh. I mean, I've seen a lot of Defilers, but whew, that looks awesome. Let's take a look at that. And look at this. We got like run down, like wilting stuff. And look at this bust here where he's like looking at something. And I love it. Just super cool. Yeah, no, she's not okay. No part of that is okay. That is just not okay. This guy is like the most normal guy there. we got like the Pope going on there, a priest. I love how he's dragging this. Yeah, the huge mouth to eat somebody in whole. I love that the sword's raised, so he's gonna go down fighting. Just so cool. All of it. Look at this zombie watcher. Ooh, looks awesome. So yeah, there's some cool stuff here. I love the idea, the concept. I love the missing eye. Fantastic, right? Just some super cool stuff. Which and this bust is amazing, by the way. I love that he's looking at that, and of course all the bases as well. So that is Crippled God Foundry. All right, next up we have White Werewolf Tavern. One of the cool things here, and you can kind of see it here, they have all the like avian stuff. They have a whole bunch of griffins, which the griffins look really good. But I love this chick here because I really dig the lower back wings that kind of like angle down. It's something that isn't done very often. And in fact, I would argue it's not shown very well either often, where it just doesn't look good to me. This looks good. I think they did a very good job with the lower wings. I think that's great. And again, these bird people, the feathers are fantastic. I love the variety. Like you have this guy here. You have these kind of warrior people here, which just look like warriors. The griffins look great. Love them. So yeah, it's just great stuff. Really, really good stuff. White Werewolf Tavern always does a great job. And lastly, Titan Forge Miniatures. They do a ton of stuff. I'm going to share just this one. This is their Everdark Elves, and it says elves, but I don't know if you noticed or not, but there's a lot of non-elf stuff here too that looks, again, great. So you have two different versions here. You have this army here, which is kind of like the really, like, look at the horns on there, and then the wings. It looks super cool. I love the little people, actually. Or you can have the kind of people here as well, and the monsters that are a little bit different. So this one, you can have the white rider, not the rider. The centipede hydra thing is wild. I don't know what to think about that. Love the horns. Super unique there. Super cool. Again, great poses. Interesting. Love the kind of moth motif we got going on here. Look at the shoulder. I mean, as much as the head is cool and the staff is cool with all the moths on it, look at the shoulder pads of that. I mean, just and then the cape is kind of weird. Such a unique mini. Just a cool aesthetic style that, again, looks different. It's something I'm not used to seeing, and I really appreciate that. Of course, you get all the variety of different stuff you can get. You can get the heroes as well. Just super cool stuff. So yeah, that is, of course, Titan Forge is a tier, a list, right? And it shows. So guys, that is kind of the stuff I'm looking at, kind of the stuff I thought would be interesting to show you guys. If there's something else you would like me to look at, let me know in the comments below, of course. If there's anything you saw that you thought would be super cool to own and you don't own a 3D printer, or you can't be bothered printing one of those big multi-piece ones and stuff like that, go in and give GameWorkCreate a try. Again, they are linked down below. Fair prices, 100% money back guarantee, super robust build quality and printing quality. They are fantastic. They'll do you right, I am sure. And with that, I will talk to you guys again towards the end of the month as I kind of show some of the stuff, some of the late stragglers, right? Not everybody gets their August stuff in at the beginning of August, right? And that's just kind of how things go. So we'll sync back up at the end of the month. Until then, a whole bunch of board gaming goodness on this channel, and of course tabletop stuff and pretty much everything related to all of that. So all right, that's it. That's all I had. Take care, guys.